it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are back again with another video, and guys, this will be my Peacemaker episode 8, called, It's Cow or Never spoiler review. This is the finale, of course, of Peacemaker, and I just got done watching it, and what a great episode. What a great finale, a great way to end off the season, but also a great way for us to ask questions on what's going to happen going forward for season 2. They kind of leave little hints on what could possibly happen with, characters, get some characters, getting together, some characters, getting different jobs and everything, and, where our characters are left off for us to continue in season 2, and it makes us want more of season 2, but what they do in this finale, and what they did overall in the first season. But to start off this episode, I love how we still continue with Anabio and, Chris at odds, because, Chris is really taking it hard that Anabio betrayed him, with the whole journal and pretty much setting everything up in motion, and, he just couldn't believe that, she did that, because that was, his one true friend, and he felt hurt. And I love how we're continuing that after right now they're on their way to go destroy this cow, and I literally love how Anabio was trying to apologize, and of course, Chris is making farting noises, trying not to even let her continue saying she's sorry, because he doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't care after she betrayed him. And I love how Vigilante joins in, ends up doing the farting noises too. That was just very funny to me. It was very childish, it was very Peacemaker and Vigilante for them to do that. And just who their characters are. I just really loved how that was their response. And of course, Vigilante wants to get involved. And of course, he's going to end up, making farting noises and doing everything like that, because, he considers Peacemaker and him best friends, and that's Peacemaker's only best friend. And of course, he's going to have his back in that situation. And going from there, they're trying to figure out a way to get, right now they're at the farm, or I guess the ranch, and they're trying to figure out the way to get in there and trying to figure out the plan to use Peacemaker's helmets. One they're okay, what are these helmets? There's an idea if we get one of the helmets, maybe onto the barn, we'll be able to just explode the barn and the cow will die because it's underground. And they're trying to figure out the way. They're trying to figure out which helmet can do that. And of course, Peacemaker's explaining the helmets to everybody is that gives you scabies, that gives you, it turns you into a human missile, and then that turns you into, that can do levitation, and then this one can do, bursts and stuff, that one helmet that he used to take out that one girl in his apartment. And of course, they're none of these are really going to work, except that maybe the levitation one can work, because we can use that to guide you over there, and then you could put the exploding, helmet over on the roof. And then that was a pretty good plan until they tried getting Eagly to go do it, but then Eagly took the helmet and dropped it somewhere else, which was funny because they were all believing, especially after what Anabio saw, this eagle's not an ordinary eagle. I saw a hug Peacemaker, this and that, and they're Eagly can do this, but of course, Hardcore wasn't buying it, and I thought that was funny. And Eagly takes it somewhere else. I thought that was a funny ass moment. And they're pretty much all looking for the helmet, and then we get Chris still processing of the fact that he killed his father, and he's now seeing his father everywhere he goes, which is an interesting plot line to see in season 2, because I feel that's heavily going to be what's going to be going on in season 2, is him trying to deal with the fact and trying to cope with the fact that he killed his father, and that his father just cannot control him anymore. But after his father controlling him his entire life, that, of course, it's not just going to go away once he kills him, because his father turned Peacemaker, Chris, into who he is, into Peacemaker. He turned, him into that. So it's going to be hard for him to cope with the fact of, how can I get rid of somebody that has always had control and always tortured me my entire life, even if their physical presence is gone. And I feel that's what we're going to see in season 2. So going with that moment where, he tries using a blow dart because he doesn't want to, cause attention to any of the butterflies, that he's trying to, take out his father, because he thinks his father's actually there somewhat. But he's his father's I'm not actually here, but I'm in your consciousness, because, you really thought you could, once you killed me, that I wouldn't still, still try to control your life, still try to, be in your life. And I feel like that's what he's going to be trying to fight and deal with and cope with in season 2. So, like, he's trying to use the blow dart. Harcourt sees him saying, like, Chris, what are you doing? And already, I feel like she doesn't understand the inner demons that he's dealing with, even though she kind of, I feel like maybe kind of has a sense that he's talking to his father. And I feel like that's just going to be heavily going into season 2, what he's going to be dealing with. So from there, I guess when he did the blow dart, I guess it pointed to one of the helmet, like to his helmet that they're looking for, the one that, can, inhibit the sonic blast. So that was really cool that, like, it was kind of like it's right there, you know what I mean? And I don't know what kind of, like, a foreshadowing that was doing, like, maybe, like, his father was, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe that was just a coincidence. But that moment going forward, how they're trying to figure out the way to do it, and I guess Harcourt wants him to take out one of the guards that are wearing, one of the police uniforms, so John can I guess get the helmet inside. And I love how, like, there was a moment where he's like, why are they soaking wet? And he's like, oh, because I had to get the shit off, because it's known when you kill people, like, they relieve themselves before they die. And he's like, oh, like, what kind of, I don't want to wear diarrhea pants. He's like, they're not diarrhea pants. He's like, are they diarrhea pants? He's like, they're diarrhea pants. And I was like, that's that's pretty funny. Just the jokes in the show are just funny to me. And I just love how, John goes in, he ends up going down to the basement, but he has to act normal. He can't act like, he has to act like he has no emotion. He has to act like a butterfly. He can't cause too much attention, but John's pretty much flipping out saying this is a terrible idea, meaning because he's going into the main hive of the butterflies, and he's going to drop off the helmet so they can explode the helmet, or let off the charge that the helmet gives off to take out this cow. And that's what they end up doing, because there was a moment where, like, John gets in there, he's like, holy shit, I'm done dealing with kaijus, this, and that. He ends up walking out, and then the one dude says, oh, like, the one main officer dude that got taken over says to John, not knowing his name, but says, like, why did your human body make his beard like that? Why does his beard look like that? And he explains why he dyes his beard, and that was a really sad that he, like, says, oh, because I thought it would make me look younger, and I thought nobody would know this until somebody did, and somebody made fun of me for it, even though, like, I never had time to really go out and to, date or anything. This just made me feel better about myself. And that was a really sad moment that, Harcourt, Peacemaker, and, Vigilante and Inabayo all heard that's why John does what he does. And that just really made me sad that, that really cut deep for John, that, Peacemaker, all he did was make fun of his beard and call him out for it, even though that was kind of like he was hoping nobody would know this. And I really thought that made everybody closer, even though we kind of, like, patched things up between him and, Peacemaker in the previous episodes and stuff, when they made the 11th Street Kids thing, and that's the one thing that they have in common, they make them really friends. That just really cut deep. I was like, wow, that was a really sad moment to learn a little bit more about John and stuff, because we don't really know much about him until that moment when he explains to the one butterfly that's, this one human did this to do that, because, of course, when butterflies, inhabit your body, they inhabit your memories, and, of course, that's why the butterfly's like, oh, how do you know that, or how do you know that much about that, because it automatically inhabits all the memories that the previous person had before. So that was just a sad moment, and then he ends up walking away, but then that's when, I guess, a butterfly comes across the bag that has the helmet in there, and that's when when John's walking away after that, scary close encounterment of, oh my god, I almost got made. This one butterfly says, hey, this guy put this helmet in here, and then that's when they kind of all realize, oh shit, Peacemaker and everything, and that was a scary moment where, like, Inabayo, mind you, at this point, Chris and Inabayo are not on good terms. So when she messes up trying to say explode the helmet, and drops it, and then Chris is like, what the hell? And then John's running away, trying not to get taken over or die at this moment. Ends up getting tackled, and then that's when Inabayo finally says, I forget, like, activate ocular blast or something, and then or activate blast, and then it blows up the barn. It's starting to take it apart and stuff. And then at that moment, that's when John, like, they're all running back, and then but they have like 4 blasts. You can only use it for 4 blasts, and they end up using those 4 blasts to really make the caves underneath down below to take out the butterfly. So, or take out the cow. So at this point, they're trying to save the cow, even though they know it's kind of like too late, that there's not much they can do for it. But that's when Peacemaker, that's when Hardcore and Vigilante all run out while John's running away, and they end up going to town on all of them, which, again, that was a super cool fight sequence that we got. I'd say that was there was so many cool fight sequences in the show, but this had to be the coolest fight sequence. To see Peacemaker with a shield, that was sick, and I understand now why, John Cena said, I think in, like, when he was doing, Suicide Squad, promotion, that he said that Peacemaker is kind of like the more ruthless, more of a jerk of Captain America. And we see that now because he brought out the shield, which, again, that shield was sick. If they ever make a Hasbro Peacemaker shield, I gotta buy that because that was sick. But it was kind of like an upside down triangle, kind of like how Cap shield was. It was really cool to see that Peacemaker shield. So that whole moment where we see, Hardcore and Peacemaker and Vigilante all going to town, and they're all working together, and they're all doing cool things. Vigilante's like slicing all their arms off, slicing their heads off. We see, Peacemaker like shoving his shield into people's heads and then throwing it at people and doing a whole bunch of cool shit. And then we see, Hardcore kicking ass, doing her thing. It was just a cool fight sequence, but then, at this moment, he sees somebody trying to go, stop what's going on down below and I guess trying to move the cow. And, Hardcore says, we got this, go get that, go get her, stop her from doing it, go get Groff, because that's Groff that took over that one agent's body. So, Hardcore's like, go get Groff and make sure he doesn't, teleport the cow anywhere else. Because if they lose the cow, then it's game over. They have to, like, try to find it again, and who even thinks that they can even find the cow again or even stop them? Like, this is their only shot. It's now or never. It's cow or never. That's why I love the title of this episode. So he goes down there. He ends up, like, falling through flights of steps, ends up getting, caught under rubble. Hardcore gets shot. My heart stopped. I was like, no freaking way are they going to kill off Hardcore, because I was like, they just confirmed season 2. Please tell me she's not going to die. Please tell me that's not what's going to happen. But before we see Hardcore get shot, we see Vigilante get shot. And I was like, no, please, dear God, no. Please, God, let this not happen, that they're all just going to die and they're all going to get overrun and it's going to be left to Peacemaker. I was like, please, what is happening right now? My heart was like, I was feeling it. I was like, oh no, is this the end? And at this point, we know, like, Annabio and John are out, like, over into the forest, and they're like, Hardcore's down, and Annabio's like, has no other choice to be like, I'm made for this shit. She's kind of embracing that. I am made for this shit. There's a reason my mom saw this within me. I am made for this shit, and I went through the training. I can do this, and she ends up going out there, guns blazing, with her 2 pistols, Annabio, and she's wrecking house. She's just wrecking house, doing some John Wick shit. I was like, okay, she's wrecking house, taking them all down. And mind you, John was gonna go follow her, but he ends up hitting one of the gates, and ends up, like, splitting his shin open, and it looked disgusting. He hit it hard. And he's on the ground, and he's like, he's just screaming and shit. I was like, oh God. I was like, damn, you really, like, took a step trying to make, do this, but then you end up getting taken out by you in your shin. And mind you, like, Annabio is trying to sit with Hardcore, and as she's taking all these, all these other butterflies out. There's a butterfly trying to fly in Hardcore's mouth, and I was like, please no, please no, please no, I don't want this for Hardcore, please no, please no. And we see, as the butterfly is about to go in her mouth, we see Annabio grab the butterfly, ends up shooting the butterfly's head off, and ends up wanting to stay with Hardcore, saying, we need to get you help, I need to get you out of here. And she's like, no, you need to go help, Chris out, and you need to stop the cow from being transported, because if we lose it forever, and there goes our world. And she's like, okay, ends up leaving. Hardcore ends up going to go, find, Chris, ends up finding out Chris is stuck underneath the rubble. She's trying to get him out, but as we all realize is when she's moving all the rubble, we think she's the one that's getting Chris. It's actually her, not the one getting Chris. She's over, like, there's like a wall in the cave, and there's a wall splitting between them from getting to Chris, and she's trying to get all the rubble and move that to get over to get him because he's right on the other side. But we end up seeing somebody else that's moving it, and we think it's Anabayo, but it's actually Groff. Groff picks up Peacemaker and pretty much puts him up against the wall, saying, I need you to come with me and see what's going on. But before, she ends up, Groff ends up doing that, we see Anabayo saying, activate, I forget, human, torpedo, activate torpedo. And then, of course, previously, Peacemaker even said that don't use this helmet because if you want to lose, if you use this helmet, you're going to, pretty much, kill yourself. You know what I mean? You're pretty much gonna break all the bones in your body. It's like it's not like, I guess he said it's a prototype. Don't use this helmet. But that's the one, I guess Harcourt gave to Anabayo is go help Chris out. And that was the one. So she says, activate human torpedo. And he's like, no, don't, Anabayo, no. And she ends up, sending it into the wall, into this brick wall. And then she's ended up laying on the ground. And then that's when we see, of course, Groff say, Peacemaker, come with me. And explains to Peacemaker why Judo Master was a part, defending them. And why Judo Master was, trying to help them is because their only inhabitable planet was Earth, but they realized that they didn't want an extinction level event happening, and they didn't want their planet dying like their planet died, and they wanted to, even though they knew it was wrong, but they were like, we had to do the hard things that no other humans could do, which was everybody ignoring the problem of global warming, ignoring the problem of, of pretty much, of money and greed, and pretty much getting to the point of you guys destroying yourselves. We had to do the hard choice, and we had to take over, and we had to do anything and everything to pretty much a moral, and that's what Peacemaker has, is he has a moral of not killing anybody unless they deserve it. They're like, we're not killing anybody unless they deserve it, in a way of saving everybody else. And to save your world. And that's why Judo Master was like, the butterflies are not what you think, is they're trying to stop the extinction of what we're doing to our planet. They're trying to stop that because they don't want it happening to how their planet was, because this is the only other inhabitable planet that they can live on, and they don't want it happening to the planet that they just got to, and they are making the hard decisions that we make of how we don't admit to what we do and what to our Earth. And it was kind of like James Gunn was trying to make us feel to the point of this is a hard choice. They're doing a bad thing, taking over people and letting people not make the right to choose. And you know what I mean? He was kind of trying to make it oh, this is a hard decision. Who should Peacemaker go with? Should he help them transport the cow and work with them to take over the world, but yet save the world, or them destroy the cow, but yet the world is going to end up dying anyways because people aren't taking care of the planet and are all about greed and money? What are you going to do? And Peacemaker is the one that can make that hard decision because he's willing to do anything and everything to keep peace. And essentially that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep peace and to save the world, the butterflies, but yet he doesn't want to betray his team, so he makes the hard decision on destroying the cow, but he ends up saying activate, mind you, because at this point, Anabayo is getting up off the ground after her being knocked out from her doing, turning into the human torpedo. So we get a moment where, she said, Chris says, activate torpedo, and then that's when, Anabayo ends up flying into the cow, which was disgusting, but it's such a James Gunn thing, ends up taking out the cow, and then we see, Chris say, I'm sorry, Groff, and ends up shooting Groff in the chest, knowing that I don't want to kill you, Groff, but, and you can have your lasting, bit of food that's left, but you will eventually die, but I'm not going to be the one to shoot you and kill you right then and there. I'm not doing it. So that was a moment where like he ends up taking Adebayo out of there and ends up going to hardcourt and picking up hardcourt. And then the moment where we see them walking away, we see the Justice League landing on the ground. Like, they all come in to save the day. But I love when, which again was a shock to me. Like, that's my thumbnail. It was a shock to me to see the Justice League here. But mind you, the two that are in the shadow are Wonder Woman and Superman, because again, Henry Cavill, as we all know, isn't coming back as Superman. We hope for him to come back, but it's probably not going to happen. And we know that, I guess, I don't know why they couldn't get Gal Gadot back, but it wasn't Gal Gadot, because if it was Gal Gadot, they would have had her out, you know, and we would have saw her, because remind you, they're in the shadow, those two, but Aquaman and the Flash are forefront, and it's actually why am I forgetting right now? It's actually Jason Momoa, and it's actually, why am I forgetting his name? And Ezra Miller, there we go. I just had the biggest brain fart. But it's Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller, and it's the moment where, like, he says to them, "Oh, you guys are late, assholes." You know what I mean? Like, oh, like always, and, Aquaman, go F fish again, or go do something like that. And he's like, "I can't stand people spreading that rumor." And I love how Barry's like, "But it is true." And then Aquaman's like, "Shut up, Barry." I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "I can't believe they made an appearance." That was a holy shit moment, because even previously, before they went in saying we're the only ones that are left, and the only ones that really can do anything are Peacemaker, Hardcore, and Vigilante. Like, we can't do anything. And she's talking to her mom saying, "Is there any way you can call in the Justice League? Because if we lose them for good." And she's like, "Well, you guys get out of there, or you two get out of there and let them do it. But you guys get the safety, you and John and all that stuff, but let them handle what they need to be doing." And she actually ended up calling the Justice League. I thought that was awesome, how we saw the Justice League, even though, again, it wasn't Henry Cavill's Superman, because, again, he was in the shadow, even though it wasn't Gal Gadot's, Gal Gadot's, Wonder Woman, but we ended up seeing Ezra Miller, and we ended up seeing Jason Momoa's Aquaman and Flash. It was actually them. Mind you, that they are doing something right now. They are doing their, Aquaman movie. They are doing, Jason Momoa is doing Aquaman 2, and of course, Ezra Miller is doing Flashpoint. So maybe there was a way while they were doing it, they were able to get on set and do this little cameo for James Gunn. So that's why I'm thinking maybe that's why they were able to do it, because they were already doing other projects, probably on the DC lot, on the WB lot. So that's why I'm thinking maybe that's why they were able to do that. But either way, that was a really cool scene that we got to see them cameo. And then we see, again, they're all at the hospital at this point. I love it because Adebayo and Chris have big gulps from 7-Eleven, and Vigilante is just standing there. Well, Vigilante is in the ER. He's trying to get the bullet out of him, because he even says when they all get in there and we see Harcourt getting rolled off into surgery, we end up seeing Vigilante. He's just saying like, "Oh, I'm fine," and the Peacemaker's like, "You're shy." He's like, "No, I'm fine." He ends up falling on the ground. Ends up have to get sent to the OR. Has to get get the bullet out of him and everything, and under surgery. And we just see Adebayo and Chris just talking at the moment. He's like, I love how Adebayo's like, I really am sorry for what I did, and Chris is like, I know. And he's like, just between, he's like, and then Adebayo's like, "Okay, I have to go or whatever. I have to go do something. I have to go do the right thing." And that's when Chris says to her, "Just don't tell Vigilante, but you are, it's Eagly, then it's you as my best friend." And that was really touching, that we get those, he did accept our apology, and he did say that you are my best friend besides Eagly. It goes Eagly, you, and then it goes Vigilante and everything, probably like that. But I just thought that was really nice to see that moment. And she ends up tearing up and ends up pretty much saying that, she appreciates that, and she does consider him a friend, because it was really hard for her to do what she did to set him up like that. It was really hard, and she knew it was wrong. And I love that, how like they're friends now and everything is good. And when she said, when she says, "Oh, I have to go do the right thing," and and Chris is like, oh, don't tell that or whatever. She went to go tell everybody and broadcast to everybody that it wasn't Peacemaker. Peacemaker had nothing to do with anything. It was, it was pretty much letting everybody know what was going on. And she ends up talking about Project X, and how people are getting taken out of Belle Reve, and they're pretty much getting, they're doing these acts of heroism to take off their life sentences, and that Vigilante and Peacemaker are actually, are helping out to save the world and everything. And we see the cool moment where Adrian gets out of bed, ends up jumping out the window, because he doesn't want his identity being, shown or whatever, and, he knows his identity was already shown technically, but he doesn't want to get caught again and get shipped off to prison, so he ends up jumping out the window. And we get the moment where, like, Anna Bio goes back home to her girlfriend. Her dogs end up running out because we end up finding out in previous episodes that she actually used to work for dog grooming. So we see her two dogs, and they're wearing like a cowboy outfit, and I forget what the other dog was wearing, but I thought that was really cute how like she was actually finally able to see her girlfriend and and be happy and just and realize that she knows her place in the world now. She knows what her calling is, and she knows, what I mean? I just loved that moment that she had with her girlfriend. And the biggest part I loved about this episode was seeing the moment where Chris goes in to see Harcourt, and Harcourt ends up finding out that Chris has been there for weeks, sitting by her bedside, or being at the hospital, and we see a single tear go down her face, and we see her put out her hands, and we see her and Chris finally hold hands, and that confirms to me that they are together, and they know they like each other, and that makes me happy. I even called it saying that they're gonna get together, and I feel like that confirms that they're getting together, and we're gonna see more of that in season 2. And the one moment that really made me sad also was Judo Master, because we didn't see Judo Master all throughout this episode until the moment when he gets to the aftermath of all the butterflies dead on the ground, and he realized that he failed, and we see him just crying because he failed to save the earth in their way, even though it was a hard choice and everything. He failed, and I'm wondering if we're gonna see Judo Master in season 2 trying to maybe go for revenge because they were able to stop, and they didn't, even after maybe that they told. Even though the butterflies told Peacemaker and all them their plan, they still didn't choose to go with that option. I feel like maybe Judo Master wants to go for revenge. I don't know what's going to happen in season 2, but all I know is that season 2 is going to be cool. It's going to be crazy to see how Chris and I always forget Harcourt's actual name. It's like I forget what it is. It's like Amelia. I can't wait to see Chris and Amelia's relationship going forward and see how that blossoms. I'm excited to see now that Anna Bio pretty much told the world what Project X was. I wonder how that's going to take to everything, especially because it's in charge and it's run by Amanda Waller, how that's going to affect Amanda Waller, because, they always worked in the shadows, Amanda Waller and Project X, and people not knowing that people are getting taken out of Belle Reve to pretty much be used for a Suicide Squad mission, literally, as pawns. People don't know that until now. So how is that going to affect things in season 2? How is it going to affect the fact that John is now working at Belle Reve? Is he just going to be working there and not working in the field anymore? I don't know what is going to happen in season 2, but all I know is that James Gunn killed this season. James Gunn convinced a lot of people that didn't like Peacemaker and Suicide Squad to now like Peacemaker. Not many people can do that. When you do a character and then you make a series about a character and then make people like that character. But James Gunn was able to do it. If anybody's able to do it, James Gunn's able to do it. And he made me love this character. And I'm excited to see what's going to be going on in season 2 of Peacemaker. And I just loved this finale. I just loved the fighting in this episode. I just loved how he concluded everything to make it where there can be a season 2 and made some things where, like, we're excited to see what's going to happen in season 2. I'm just pumped. I'm excited. I want to know down in the comments below what you guys thought of the finale of Peacemaker. What was your favorite moment? Who was your favorite character? What are you excited to see in season 2? Also, yet again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, punch those notifications, like this video. I would love to have you guys here, part of this family, part of this channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And guys, we're almost to 500 subscribers. So yet again, if you've come across my videos before, I would really appreciate it again if you like the videos. Subscribe to the channel and come join this family, because I would love to have you a part of here, part of this family. And also, yet again, to make sure you don't miss any of my future videos, make sure you put on that notification bell. Also, I want to know what you guys thought about the Justice League making a cameo. At least 2 of the Justice League members of, because again, the 2 were in the shadow. 2, they were probably like stand-ins or whatever. They weren't actually, at least I don't think it was actual, Gal Gadot, or I know that wasn't Henry Cavill, but I'm thinking it wasn't Gal Gadot either, because again, they kept those 2, they kept Superman and Wonder Woman in the shadows for a reason, but they showed Aquaman and they showed Flash for a reason, because it was Ezra Miller, and it was and Jason Momoa. So I feel like that's the reason why they showed them, but they didn't show the other ones, because they were just stand-ins, and they couldn't get, of course, Henry Cavill isn't playing Superman anymore, and of course, even though that would have been a great opportunity to bring him in, I feel like James Gunn would have done that, but of course, it's still in the helm of WB, and WB doesn't want, I guess, Henry Cavill as Superman anymore. Along with, like, Gal Gadot was doing, she was doing that Death on the Nile or whatever, like that murder mystery movie that she was doing, so maybe she was busy dealing with that. And just all the other movies that she's been doing, so it makes sense why she probably couldn't, make an appearance. But either way, that was cool to see them, and that just, for people that were like, oh, this kind of feels like it's not in the same world as all the other characters, it is confirmed now that nothing, even a TV show isn't too small for the Justice League to make an appearance on. That confirms that we could be seeing the Justice League make more appearances in more future DC TV shows. We never know. But guys, that was a video. Again, I want to know down in the comments what you guys thought about the final episode of Peacemaker, and I want to know what you guys thought about the series overall. But guys, that was a video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.